The 9th day of our expedition was our first floating day. According to Melvin's plan, because of the low water level in the river, we split into 2 teams. One team walked down the river bank, ready to help the crew on the raft in a dangerous situation. The other team, including the whole expedition staff, floated down the river on the balsa. Along the way, we cleaned the river from rocks and boulders. When the water level was too low for the raft to pass, we dragged the raft. Several times that day, large stone boulders stopped our raft and blocked our path. Working together, we overcame these obstacles. Bolivia is one of the most primitive Amazonian countries, and to this date, on topographic maps, white spots appear that indicate unexplored areas. One such place is explored by us in the Alto Madidi Basin. As park guides had assured us, the Alto Madidi Basin is the hunting area of the native Toromonas. Every year during turtle breeding season, the Toromonas leave their own valley to get to the sandy beaches of Alto Madidi, looking for turtle eggs and wild bananas, which grow in large numbers on the banks of the river Madidi.
Aquí, amigo, ese es el Flora, posiblemente el río más agua de aquí para adelante. Hemos encontrado flechas en la playa y también hemos visto huellas de indios. Y es por eso que nosotros pensamos que hay indios más adelante en las montañas, en este río, más arriba.
Our cook Jimmy, after failing twice to draw fish from the river, decided he wanted a real fishing rod, just like the other members of the team, because up till now he had only been using a string with a hook. To make his new fishing rod, he went to a nearby forest and cut a 15-meter piece of balsa, and from that he cut a 30-centimeter section. Then, using only a machete and a knife, he gave it the desired shape, and after only 15 minutes, his rod for big fish was ready, reminding us that not all purchases need a fishing shop and a fat wallet. After another 15 minutes, he was pulling out of the water huge sarubi, proving that in order to eat delicious fish, you don't need a fancy, luxurious restaurant and a complacent butler. The water was filled with a great richness and diversity of fish species. Catching a fish was as easy as throwing bait into the river and waiting a few moments. The size of the hook determined how big the fish would be. Fish common in these waters were bagra, surumi, mamuri, malaya, and the largest fish of the river, baku, the local catfish. Sometimes we even managed to catch the dangerous Amazon stingray. On the 11th day of our expedition, we reached the river Flora, the biggest tributary joining the Rio Alto Madidi. Thanks to it, water level in the river rose so much that we could float down with confidence. Now came the right time to build our second raft. In this delightful corner of cloudy rainforest, we spent the next 2 days resting, catching fish, observing and enjoying the local wildlife. On the 13th day of our trip, our 2 rafts left the coast of Rio Flora and headed north. Before us was still 200 kilometers of river adventures. A few kilometers down the river, we came across a resting tapir. His short-sightedness enabled us to float at a very close distance to him, but we had to watch out for his reactions. Startled tapir can attack, and with its weight of up to 300 kilograms, it can become dangerous to humans. Tapir is the largest mammal in the jungle. He is a good swimmer and spends much of the day near the water, feeding at night. Now, sailing on a raft, we did not have to worry about incessantly biting insects, and with a light breeze from the water, we did not feel tropical exhaustion. Consecutive days had passed, and with them tens of kilometers of sailing on the meandering river, pushing through the wooded hills of Tutumo. In some parts of the river, the water level was still low, usually through the meanders. We were forced to drag the raft and clean the riverbed from large stones. Most of the day we sailed, enjoying the moment and admiring the pristine forests, and in the sections where the water was deep and winding, we paddled through the water tongue, as if on nature's roller coaster. On the 17th day of our trip, in a place where the warm water of Rio Madidi spilled into a wide basin, a huge catfish swam out in front of our raft, blocking our way and not showing fear. He was probably surprised who we were and what we were doing in his kingdom. Without major problems, Melvin caught him. It was a huge old baku, weighing over 60 kilograms. The 20th day of our trip was the last day of our expedition. It was our last camp and our last twilight in the Alto Madidi. We had finished our great river adventure. During the whole expedition, we had meticulously added the date to our GPS. From the information on the GPS, we learned that during our expedition, we had walked 175 kilometers from the bridge over the Rio Tequay to the second camp in Alto Madidi, and we had sailed on the balsa raft for another 285 kilometers. Though during the trip we were unable to find a native toramonas or sea jaguar, we were finally able to capture on video the skyfish phenomenon. They are called sunfish, skyfish, or rods. We can only suggest the assumption that they are real living beings, still completely unknown to science. They move so fast that their existence is apparent only after slowing down the film. They move through space like birds and insects, but with much greater speed, so fast that we weren't able to see them with the naked eye. Rods are said to be flying creatures, from a few inches to a few feet in length. Their bodies are shaped like long, thin rods, and their only appendages are wavy wings, one on each side, stretching the full length of their bodies. They move through the air by undulating these wings, like eels swimming through the water, a fascinating and baffling mystery. Whether the newcomers are from other dimensions or just a simple light phenomenon like lens flare, we leave a question on which the answer is maybe going to take us on our next adventure.